Alright. What's going on, ladies and gentlefolk, zealots, zerglings, marines? Strap yourselves in because we got ZVT, Shin in the bottom left side, BYUN in the top right. Shopify Rebellion. He's going to be opening up Throne of the Dunes with a 2-Rax Reaper Pressure, trying to make this map as claustrophobic as possible for the Zerg player. This map does have some nasty ledges and areas on it, where I know some Zergs have struggled to defend these ledges with nice tank spots with ramps leading up them. And always feeling like the 4th and 5th bases do kind of end up in a slightly compromised position. Also a sort of relatively short rush distance, especially natural to natural, which I think BYUN will be looking to take advantage of. It's always interesting when these two play. There are times where BYUN has to just turtle up and play late game against Shin. There are times where Shin just mauls him with early game timing attacks and all sorts of mid game things. But I just haven't watched a lot of Shin's ZVT recently, so I'm so fascinated to see what happens. And this looks like a 15-15 build. Old school. We haven't seen this as much recently. I'm not really sure why it's fallen out of favor. I know someone told me they thought it was because this delays your ling speed so much, it makes it really awkward against 2-Rax Reaper. I actually think it's perfectly fine against 2-Rax Reaper. Unless the Reapers get in the main. And I guess on this map, you've got this area here you can jump up. It's a pretty big area. Hard to block that off. Because normally you get 4 queens really fast. And you get your injects going so early that your queens can defend this quite nicely. I don't know. I'm curious to see how Shin plays it out here. I do think you want to stay mineral focused. You don't normally want to pull off minerals onto gas with this opening. You can see he's even triple stacking his workers on these far patches. He's already done it here to get a few mineral trips in, and then he'll pull off minerals onto gas now that that's finished. So he starts 2 queens, 2 zerglings, and now he pulls one off, and he should pull one of these guys. Oh, he's already pulled the other one off. Sorry, to transfer to that natural. Has he seen the barracks? Not just yet, and he's actually not checking for it. Sees 1 Reaper. From that timing, he should know this is 2-Rax Reaper. And he puts a 3rd worker on gas. That's a reaction. He's going to send 2 lings around to try and intercept, maybe get inside the base if there's no depot there, which there isn't. Depot's on the high ground. Of course, the add-on is probably going to block him from getting inside that base. Queen's out. The drones run away. Go back to mining. Well played. Oh, no injects. Okay, injects the natural and places a creep tumor immediately. Just to make sure those queens have freedom of movement between those bases. Ling's going to try to run in. 3rd Reaper's come out. It's nearby, but even pulling it back for a moment is annoying. And BYUN, a little slow to do so, which means this SCV, prime target. You can see how early the drone count's growing for Shin. Even without a 3rd hatchery being secured, I think this is really nice for him. Ling gets in the main, sees the factory, and of course you know a 3rd command center is meant to already be building. Hasn't started just yet because BYUN is distracted. Reapers dive inside the main base. There's 3 queens here, but with so few zerglings, suddenly these Reapers cause problems. Good dodge on the grenade. Gets a lot of damage on the Reapers. With already 29 workers, 5 more building. Shin's looking healthy. Does need to keep these injects going, though. It's going to spread creep and should be looking to get that 3rd base up soon. But actually, he starts a quick lair. Oh! What the hell? I thought he got the zergling. He didn't even get the zergling. BYUN! Oh no, he was trying to multitask and send the Reapers in, so he accidentally pulled this Reaper away, loses the SCV but in the command center. Oh, that's very sloppy for BYUN. Let's go with double engineering bay now. He's going to play that Maru style build, or Maru coded as we called it the other week. Let's not make that a normal thing. Orbital comes up, and it's Ling speed into Roachhorn. Oh, is he going to do the Ravager Ling all in, is he? It's such a late Roachhorn. And this build Shin does is so weird, dude. Where he's like, I'm making Ling speed, but also going 2 base Roach. He does have a really weird Roach speed Ravager Zergling timing he can do off of it. All your production up on the natural. Could be exposed 12 Zerglings building. Interesting build order. Good worker advantage of 14 for Shin. As the 3rd comes up, of course, he can get that going as well. Yeah, hit the Ling in the corner of the natural. I thought the Reaper would have hunted it down. BYUN probably just got distracted there, sent his Reapers in a bit too early and didn't finish checking the corners. Starport, Stim's on the way. 2 engineering bays coming up. Evo chamber number 1 is on the way. Shin's economy just feels so slow with this build. Like, I'm always like, are you all inning or are you macroing? Can you make up your mind, bro? With no drone spotted on that 3rd base, it's already a bit suspicious. So I think the idea here is you hide the roaches. You show the lings, you show a few queens, and then you hide the roaches, and because he's seen Ling Speed, he assumes you're playing Ling Bane. No real scary timings coming off Ling Bane. And then you just surprise him here with a massive roaches with roach speed. It's a very well disguised opening, but Stim 1-1 Marines will be ready in time for it, I believe. 50 seconds till 1-1 kicks in. Stim will kick in about 45 as well, pretty close. So, oh, he sees the roaches now, though. I feel like the whole point of this build is to hide the roaches. I don't know, man. Shin should have kept the Zerglings at home. Doesn't this just feel like a huge misplay for Shin, guys? Showing these roaches and Zergling speed? It's a very aggressive setup. Ling speed and roaches this early. He's going to try and catch these units. There are more roaches building, but Shin, a little supply block, had to stop to build overlords in the middle of this. And this should give plenty of time for BYUN to get tanks up. I mean, this feels awful for Shin. He's going to make Ravages and go. At least one tank will be out, but I mean, having all your production on the natural is always what hurts. Bunker's also very slow for BYUN. 1-1 Stim is finished. No combat shields. The Marines are fragile, but Zerglings won't be much of a match for them. These roaches don't have any upgrades. The firepower of those Marines is pretty intense. He's going to wait for his Ravages. 9 drones coming in behind this, but Shin needs to do damage with this attack. He's going to shove the ramp, pushing on up there, drops himself just one bile, forces the pickup. Tank is going to siege up there in a pretty reserved position. Combat shields, no way will that get in here. And losing 2 barracks when you've only got 2 barracks is very bad. The barracks, oh, it goes down. He loses both barracks without even lifting them. BYUN is in deep trouble right now, guys. 3 more barracks building in the main. A second tank will be out soon. But I mean, losing all that barracks just means you're going to be so long before you can even attack. It's going for +2 weapons before armor before weapons. Classic BYUN mistake there, and he's massively supply blocked right now. Has to do a supply drop and build more depots. He has no idea how all in this is, while Shin casually just stops committing, goes 75 drones, carapace, second evo, infestation pit. Losing those 2 barracks, an absolute disaster. And you know what? Shin, I thought this being spotted so early meant it could be countered. Turns out I was wrong. BYUN with just 2 barracks isolated on the front like that. It's very, very bad situation as a fruit fly lands on my face. Ugh. Contaminate on the factory, not a bad move. 4 bases are coming up. The 4th is kind of slow for a 73 drone Zerg, but already carapace, melee, infestation going infestors. I think fungal, plus just the lack of marine production puts BYUN in a terrible spot. Do you think he should have built 2 bunkers in front of his barracks, guys? If he put like the 2 bunkers here and the tank behind it? When he first spotted the roaches chasing his Hellion Reaper, I think he could have done that. That might actually be the only way you defend this. Because you just can't lose the position on the barracks. You need to be able to make combat shields and keep building 3 Marines at a time. He's going to sell 2 of his bunkers now. Trying to move to the 3rd. BYUN has good upgrades, even though the supply is appallingly bad for him. 4th base only just started mining. Shin didn't have that big of a mineral mining advantage. If he had an earlier 4th base, I think this would be better for him. It's still good for him, but remember, a lot of his supply is tied up in Roach Ravager. So even though it felt like that supply advantage was so scary, 2-2, going to be up against 1-1. And Roach Ravager supply is really bad. Remember, that's 21 supply of Ravagers. At max out, they are not worth 21 supply in your army. Going to go Ultras, Viper. I mean, having Viper and Infester and Ultras is going to be great. Eventually, he'll add Banelings, no doubt, as he starts banking money. Banelings are always what you want at max out as a Zerg. So is this live, Pig? You always seem to know which games are the best, even though it's always live. Says your face. Fungal! Huge fungal ambush BYUN! Oh no! He loses 2 tanks to Biles, a massive fungal. I gotta question that move out. This style that Shin played always goes infestors afterwards. It's the standard transition. Walking out in a clump like that was a huge doo-doo for BYUN. Cops massive fungals, loses a ton of Marines and tanks. And now he has one option, which is sit at home and just make tanks and turtle and hope you survive. You know what's funny, guys? The fire on the corner of these towers kind of makes it look like there's a permanent corrosive bile about to land on the siege tank. You guys see what I'm talking about? I'm not the only one, right? I'm like, oh god, there's biles about to land on these tanks. Because it's normally an orange marker. So if I don't look closely at it in the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh, biles are landing. Three more barracks, second factory. BYUN gets to max out. Could be good. Microbial Shroud's coming in for Shin. Realizing that ghosts are a long ways away in this game. Fungal could be good to stop the pickup. Oh, great Fungal. BYUN taking way too long to pick up his units. The final medevac does pick up much quicker. Taxing the left side. These roaches will get gunned down by the bio, but at least he focuses the marauders, gets a few of the marines. As the lings come back to help, might be able to defend. Queen falls, and the bio does pick up to pull away. Units lost tab dead even in this game, both just underneath 5k. BYUN needs to slow things down. Honestly, I don't think he should be trading. I think he should be dropping to distract, but not actually trading the army, because now Shin has a massive maxed timing, and you're going to be 40 supply from maxed. Which means I think the Bane speed ultra timing probably busts through. Now, to be fair, attacking up this ramp here is the stupidest angle you could attack from. Shin, please don't chuck a Zerg. He attacks from this ramp, or this area, that's good. But he's right now lining up for the worst possible choke point. And that hurts me inside. Okay, he rotates. Good move. Oh, he's still sending some units up that choke, but that's okay. Blinding Cloud on some of the bio forces him to start a step back. Widowmine does land on some units. Blinding Cloud on the bio again. Ravages take out the siege tank. There's another tank in reserve, but none on the high ground. And that means Biles will clear the tank. Baneling Ultra eventually closing the distance with the bio. It gets overrun. BYUN, his counterattack was getting stopped at the same time with that single dropship in the north. And that is a shutdown for Shin. What an interesting matchup. Shin's been doing this like Ling Speed into Roach, kind of 2-base aggro build. And I got to tell you guys, a Zerg who doesn't have drones on his third is not got a good amount of pull in his long game. And at this point, he'd already come in, seen no drones there. And I think at this point, when he sees the roaches, that's all you need to know. You absolutely got to try and defend it. Whilst that looks a bit scary, you've got 9 Marines. 9 Marines beats 12 Zerglings super easily. I think BYUN should have not only immediately gone for tanks, which he did, but also move out here, build 2 bunkers, put a tank behind it. I think you've got to defend the barracks. You guys tell me what you think. That's my theory. But yeah, I can understand why if you think, well, what if the attack comes before the bunkers are up? That's a disaster. Losing the barracks was pretty bad. At the end of the day, though, honestly, he still ended up in an okay position. He just walked into Fungal and then kept walking into Fungal and throwing units away when he just needed to slow the game down and let Shin's inefficient supply run into a brick wall of Terran if BYUN slowed the game down and got to max. Either way, great game one for Shin. Takes advantage of BYUN's low ground wall off and punishes him. All right, guys, Shin in the top right side of Celestial Enclave now. BYUN in the bottom left. And BYUN actually looks like he's set up his camera location, including this base. I think you should still always expand to the front as Terran, but getting a third on location, 5 minerals, 1 gas, not bad at all. Zerg usually doesn't want to take the crappy base in the back. They prefer to expand up here. Some people go here. I like to go straight for the corner. I love the corner base. Even though, yes, it can get pushed and it's hard to defend, I think it's awkward for Terran to push all the way into that corner. And anything to pull my... I'm always playing styles where I'm happy for my opponent to have to pull into a really weird position of the map, where I can always just run the drones away, give the hatchery up, and also be expanding on the other side at the same time. Hatchery goes down there as well. So hatch first. This time it is still 15 hatch. You can see it goes Overlord and then spawning pool on about 1 minute. Very crisp spawning pool timing. So Shin's a big fan of the 15-15 right now. Do love those build variations. I think Clem got really good at dealing with it, especially with his 3 commands and a 2-1-1. But even just his early Reaper pressure, often just going 2 Hellions, they're really annoying. But it's one of those things where when the Zerg's very good at defending like Shin is, if you aren't picture perfect with that Reaper Hellion harass, you just find no damage. Hello, what is this, guys? What is this? Gasless 3 hatch. It's going to be the old school no ling speed straight into Roach build, hey? Oh, he's going to hide it in the corner as well. Oh, it's a sneaky third base. So he can just build drones in the corner. Oh, I love it. I mean, he could have built this already, but I guess he goes 2 queens first. Wait, 15-15 into only 1 queen? Oh my god, there's no point in doing a 15-15. Right? If you're going to skip the other queen. I mean, I guess it kind of tricks your opponent, but wouldn't you be better off just doing a 16 hatchery? The whole point of this build is to get 2 queens out, injecting really early. Shin might be about to teach me something. Almost certainly. Finally starts the extra queen in the main base. I mean, it does mean you get to skip Zergling still, because this queen should deflect, but if that Reaper decided to run in the main, you'd be ruined. You'd actually be ruined. If BYUN chose to go into the main, because you can't afford much minerals this game. You got to be putting everything into drones, overlords, queens right now. And his overlord was a little late as well. I don't like Shin's opening. I think Shin's opening was... I like the idea behind hiding a base in the corner. I just think 16 hatchery probably does this better. With 4 Zerglings and 1 queen on the natural. But gets away with it for the most part. Only loses a creep tumor, which sucks, but it's not the end of the world. He will be able to keep droning from that base. He's just got to remember to leave this hatchery on a separate rally point. So if you're going to change your rally point in your other hatcheries, either reset this one or don't keep this on the same hotkey. Select it separately and build drones manually. So often when I've got a proxy base I don't want to reveal by accidentally rallying units back from it, I'll just keep a camera location here and I'll manually go to it every like 30-40 seconds and just select it and build drones. Bit of a weird way of doing it. I normally do that when it's a bit less committed, the proxy. When it's a hatchery I want to be building off all game, I think I'd probably just try to not adjust my rally point very much. And that way that rally point stays there. And if it builds overlords or anything accidentally, it doesn't matter. Roach Roar and Evo Chamber goes down. Of course, you want to wall off the front against any early Hellions. Guess what? There's no Hellions in this game. Shin has no idea. This is a 3cc into 3 barracks play. Double engineering bay comes down after the 2nd and 3rd barracks. Maru probably would have gone double e-bay before 2nd and 3rd barracks, but we'll see how it goes. Two gases on the natural. Drones building. Reaper gets another creep tumor snipe, dude. He's been annoying, hasn't he? He's got 3 kills. I think are they all creep tumors? Has he killed 3 creep tumors? Because there's no units lost other than the 2 extractor tricks. Dude, this guy is the tumor slayer. Call this man, promote him to oncologist. What the hell, man? That's crazy. He thinks this is a 3rd, but that's a fake hatchery. It's more of a macro hatchery than anything. Shin's up to 9 drones in the top left. Dude, this build's so cute. Such a cute build. He doesn't know what he's up against is the one problem. Like, he's building some spores right now. So he's playing very blind. And BYUN is doing a very greedy build of his own. It's one of these things where is BYUN's build effectively greedier than Shin's? You know what it is. Shin thinks he's getting away with murder doing this super greedy build. BYUN's build is just better. Because his 1-1's like 2/3 of the way finished. Carapace has just started. Shin's only up like 8 workers. Because BYUN, I mean, he's got the inside base anyway. I mean, this will cap out because it's only 5 mineral patches, but BYUN's build feels pretty good, man. I don't know about this. Did the Reaper finally goes down. The creep is allowed to spread. It's got 2 tumors over here that Shin needs to not forget about. That creep spreading down to this area and this area is really quite vital. He also needs to spread some tumors up in this top left side because defending that base, that's normally the point of contention in this top left base. He's forgotten about this creep, has Shin. 2nd Evo chamber does go down. Roach speed's on the way. No gases on the 3rd or 4th base just yet. 7 overlords at once. Yeah, I think Shin was very confused about what's happening in this game. He loses the overlord on this pillar. I don't know if BYUN scanned or it moved off the pillar or did he lift his command center? I don't think he lifted the command center. Maybe the overlord was slightly off position. Gas is going down. Infestation, a bit of a vulnerable position, but sometimes your main base is vulnerable to drops on this map, so I think up here is probably the safest area for tech, in between your natural and 3rd. Speed starting up. Shin's not going to stay roaches all game. I'd feel much better about Shin's position if he gets like 4 infestors out. But I think his gas count's a little too low. He's taking his 7th gas now. His 5th and 6th gas just started mining. Against this sort of bio army, if you have 4 infestors gathering energy, it's almost lights out for BYUN. Just even though he's got an upgrade advantage, you're just going to fungal him to death. Right? especially if you get some anti-air to deal with drops. Yeah, BYUN thinks he's up against the 2 base build. He's waiting for an attack, says Truth, Honor, Justice. I think you're correct. I think he's like, yeah, what's going on? They're both very confused. Why haven't you made a play? Why haven't you made a play? The 2 Spider-Men are pointing at each other. This one melee comes in. +2 carapace starts. He cancels the melee. Good choice. Much more important upgrade. Double Drop's going to move out to that right side. Try to get in the back door, but look at Shin's vision. Shin's up to 80 workers now. His army might be a little weaker in a head-to-head clash. He needs infestors. He's got a lot of creep spread to buy him time, and he's finally started creeping the top left as well. BYUN's going to find himself an Overlord, and he's going to run into slow Zerglings. That's hilarious. Spore Queen, slow Zergling defense. Oof. His carapace was finished, but oh, this is a good trade for BYUN. Meanwhile, the Roach Ravager lings out in the map. BYUN's just going to stim right past it. Great trade in the main base. And he's going to find even more here. Second stim goes down, which means his units are quite damaged. He's just going to stand and gun down the Zerglings. Only dodging once the Biles land, mostly landing on a few of his own lings. And I think BYUN wise to try and get out of here. If he can get off creep, but there's plenty of Zerglings chasing him, so he's going to get caught. He's going to have to just fight. Stutter step, save what you can. Oh, he does get to the help of the Medivacs. And a Bile goes down. The second one dodged by that Widowmine. Units lost time at 1,000 in favor of BYUN at the end of those trades, which I think is decent. He's going to float a 4th base out to the right side. And probably 5th base up on this one later. Ultra Cavern, Adrenal. +1 melee coming up now. No spellcasters. This is really bad for Shin, guys. Like, the way BYUN's playing, like I said, if you have 4 Infestors out, this is so easy to crush. It's a pure Biomine army. And his movement will be so severely restricted if he's got to worry about fungal. But now Shin's like, dude, I need numbers. I can't get to Infestors. I need army. And a lot of his army's roaches, which aren't really going to hold their own as 2-2 kicks in. Ravagers over here could do well, but he's getting shoved on the right side. You can see that Widowmine's going to do crazy damage. Pretty good. Okay, could have done more. Bio fighting on the right. Widowmine's landing decent shots there. 2-2 kicking in now for Terran. Picks up, pulls away. Widowmine gets another juicy shot. Where's the Overseers, mate? Okay, he's got 2 of them now. Overlord speed has just finished as well, giving them a nice movement boost. Bile's trying to come down, look for the Hail Marys, but Ravagers in the open, luckily for Shin. Concussive is not finished just yet. All right, Biles across the front, gets rid of a few Marines and a Widowmine. BYUN wants that hatchery, but he's pushing in a bit overly aggressively right now, and the supply tells us a story. That is the fact that Shin is doing well, but Shin needs to keep this 5th alive. He's taken the garbage base with only 5 mineral patches. A lot of people really like the rich gas guys. Pro gamers really love it. 3 drone mining advantage really makes almost no difference at this income level, and there's a much better base right here, but pro gamers are going to pro game. They see a purple gas and they just cannot resist it. I understand. Sometimes I got to play for the cool factor as well. Oh, that's a good drop, but overwhelmed. Lings do get on top. Adrenal Glands, +1 melee, +2 carapace, not too bad. Ultraling Ravager is here. BYUN keeps trying to push, but he might be overcommitting in this game, man. I think he needs a lib transition. He's building a second factory, I guess, to make drilling claws. I mean, his drops are annoying, but I don't think he should be standing and fighting similar to the last game. Just keep dropping, picking up, and trying to buy time. Otherwise, how are you going to ever defend the ultras that are coming? Okay, good redrop on the low ground here. These guys redropping as well, but there's going to be a big ultra attack hitting, and I don't know if he's ready for it. There's Banelings morphing on the front. He's not really killing a lot of drones. And there are only 3 queens up for Shin at this stage, but this low ground base has to get abandoned right now. BYUN needs to run. Those SCVs are in the open, man. The ultra's coming in. He's got... I don't know if you want to go up that ramp, though. Going up that ramp's a bit of a crazy choice. Shin is a crazy man, though, who knows fear not. Fear is not one of Shin's friends. This man just shoves. Can BYUN get rid of the ultras? Once the ultras are gone, he can deal with the rest of the army, but those ultras... Right now, +2 chitinous plating. Very tanky ultras. Drop in the top left, gets shot down by the spore. Drop on that right side, goes down. Queen will clear this guy. BYUN unable to establish a 4th, and that crappy 5 mineral base getting very dry in the back. Infestors finally building for Shin. Having the ultras and the Infestors will be great. I think Liberators probably come out next, but BYUN just doesn't have the money for it. Luckily for Shin, because Shin cannot get a Spire with his limited gas. He's spending it all on Banelings and Infestors right now. Ultra Ravager trying to pull back. This is the sort of chase where a fungal ruins your day. It's caught in the open. Liberator not quite able to siege in time. Bio trying to pull away from his own ramp, so he has time to pick up and unload on the high ground. BYUN doesn't even have a wall off yet. Oh, he didn't rebuild the wall off. Baneling's trying to get on top. Shin shoving up this ramp into the choke point like a mad lad. Does end up biling a few medevacs, but also hits his own ultras. One of those ultras falls. The other one will go down. BYUN desperately trying to kite this down. Can't believe no Zerglings went in his base during that. Could have got a lot of damage. Does lose a few Ravages, but also gets rid of those Widowmines with the Biles. Liberators dancing around here being what Zerg players refer to dickheads and Terran players refer to as effective harassment. But I'm going to go with Shin. Definitely go, get out of here, you dickhead. That's 100% what I say every time someone's doing this with a Lib. Every time your Spore moves, the Lib rotates. Luckily, there's another Spore nearby. And the Lib finally does go down. BYUN going for a desperate counter drop. He needs to keep this 4th base up. With command centers there, he's on his last legs. I think Shin might just have this best of 3 in the bag. He's had a supply advantage for a long time, and as good as BYUN's micro has been, without Liberators or Ghosts, I just don't see him getting efficient enough against this army. Shin's only 2,000 resources less efficient. BYUN gets in here, gets a hatchery, a bunch of drones, and a Spore, but there's no way. Can he defend? Actually, there's no Ultras. There's not that big an army. A few good Widowmine hits maybe save the day here for BYUN. Bullet back, try to get away. The Marines, though, getting overrun. Infestor waddles forward, does eat a Widowmine to the chin. BYUN, finally, the Banelings connect. And here come the Ultras onto the production. And there's just no units there to defend. Oh, he sent 3 Ultras to defend. That's where the Ultras were. Shin sent a lot of his Ultras home. Made that look like it was almost holdable for a moment. That's going to be a 2-0, guys. Shin with some clever build orders. This is so interesting because BYUN didn't know about the 3rd in the corner. Shin didn't know about the super greedy 3rd command center into just mass upgraded barracks units, and both players kind of were like, are you gonna attack? Are you gonna attack? And it took a while. I think BYUN just overcommitted onto creep too many times there with his bio pushes, and he needed to focus on that 4th base. I think once he realized kind of what had gone on, maybe he just felt like, I need to do damage. I think he should have built that 4th a lot earlier, but I think at this point his 4th was already up at a decent timing. I think this 4th could have floated out and he could have committed to this a lot earlier. I don't know about you guys. At this point, he'd lost a bunch of Marine Marauder. I don't think the trading was bad. I think at this point, if he floats that out and just doesn't play this kind of like an all-in and plays a bit more chill because he knows he's up against heavy Roach Ravager, more of a short-term style, it's going to be good. But I think he felt like if he gives Shin time, Infestors come out, Vipers come out, and then suddenly you've got to play late game and Ghosts and all that sort of stuff, and maybe he's just not confident against Shin in the late game right now. Or he just felt like, I'm more of a mid-game guy. I want to be aggressive. I want to go. Let's get some tempo. And he just overcommitted that. Stayed a bit too long with a few of these fights. Lost a lot of these units. And I think this really added up, right? Loses quite a few units there. Gets a pretty decent fight initially here. But I think this one maybe not as clean. And over time, Shin getting the 5th base up, defending it, 85 workers. Felt like BYUN was just a bit slow to get this 4th fully effectively going. Didn't really transition off of the biomine. Stayed on a bit too long. Shin wins 2-0. GG, well played.